Hey, I'm Lani and welcome to Fabulous Retreats YouTube channel. Today we're doing a little Swiss ball workout. So grab your ball, yourself, your mat, and let's begin. We're going to start kneeling facing the ball, knees underneath the hips, and then find to the top of the ball and then just walk yourself about a quarter of the way down from the top. We're going to do some cat and cow. So we bring the chin into the throat, ribs to the hips, roll your body down as you roll the ball forwards. Inhale, let the eyes gaze forwards as the bottom pokes out, find extension. And then exhale, find that deep lower belly engages to tuck the tail and roll yourself all the way back in. Inhale, tall, exhale, chin to throat, ribs to hips. Keep the hips stacked over the top of the knees as you roll out into extension. And as you roll back up so that you can feel that work of the abdominals, restacking the spine. Exhale to roll down. Inhale to open, find extension. Exhale to engage those deep abdominals. Connect through glutes and hamstrings and pull yourself up. One more here. And then just take the ball off to the side of the mat on about a 45-degree angle. And we do the same thing but on with a bit more of a side stretch. So keeping the hips centered over the knees and facing forwards. Inhale out, exhale to roll back in. We'll just do two more on this side. Rolling down. Feel the sitting bone and the armpit really moving away from each other so that you can breathe into that space between the shoulder and the hip on that open side. Exhale, belly gathers that energy to bring you back in. Take the ball to the other side. Chin to the throat, ribs to the hips. Sitting bones reach back as the arms reach forwards. Inhale, extend. Exhale to scoop and lift and pull back in. Chin to the throat. Big breath out to dive forwards. Breathe in to expand. Breathe out to gather yourself back. Last one here. And then bringing that ball back to center. So those shoulders are set down on the back body. This time your hips are going to move forwards with you. So we're moving in a straight line from the head to the knees. The fingers, we got the top of the ball, quarter of the way down again. This time as we come forward, the hips are coming with us. We're going to roll down onto the elbows, then press down through the hands and pull the ball back in. Rolling out, lowering down onto the elbows, and then for the connection, pulling the elbows in and pressing down. So we've got this activation through triceps and lats, lower traps, and you should feel a lot of belly engaging here as well as you work to keep your spine in alignment. If this is too challenging, you can leave your bum out the back slightly. I'd prefer that than your hips dropping down to the ground and compressing into your lower back. Last two like this. Make sure you're keeping those shoulder blades nice and snug on the back body. Shoulders are not creeping up to the ears. And then we come down and we're going to hold it on our elbows. From here we draw little circles with the elbows. Rolling that ball around, trying to keep the hips down in that plank position. Making the circles as big as you can without losing that connection through the shoulders. Oh, my ball really needs a blow up. And then circling back the other way. Last circle here. You should feel lots of arms working, some belly working. Coming back to the center, press down to lift up. Nice, bring the ball all the way in to your hips here, or to the front of your thighs. And then roll yourself forward so that your hips are on top of the ball and toes are down on the ground. You should be able to get your feet and your hands down on the ground here. Spread the fingers nice and wide, draw the shoulders down, and find that little activation of pubic bone to belly button. From here, we're going to point the left toes, then reach the leg so long that the leg begins to lift off the ground. And then flex the foot and bring it back down. Point the right toes, reach the leg so long it lifts off the floor, and then flex the leg and bring it down. And as you continue here, side to side, I want you to be mindful that the weight in the arms doesn't change at all, so we're not shifting from side to side as that leg lifts. And be really mindful that the amount of pressure through the lower belly doesn't increase on the ball. So it's a hip extension here. We're moving the femur into extension. The lower belly is staying active to keep the pelvis neutral, which will keep the spine neutral. Reach long to find your height. And one more on each side, just with the legs. And then we'll keep those legs down, trying not to rock to the side. Again, we exhale, float one arm and reach it up in front, and then place the leg down. Exhale, and the other arm lifts. And down. If it's hard to balance, take your feet a little wider. That'll give you a wider base of support here. We want to try and feel that as the arm lifts, the shoulder's not lifting to the ear, but you should feel some, or a whole heap of stabilizers having to switch on throughout the body in order to keep you nice and balanced. Let's see if we can go opposite arm and leg now, lifting. And back down. The toes point, the leg reaches long, the arm reaches long, they lift together. Flex the foot and lower back down. Point and reach through the toes. The fingers and the toes are moving as far away from each other as possible. And down. Again, being really mindful here that the extension's coming from the hip joint. Last one. Then bring that weight forwards just a little bit more. Bend the knees and bring the heels together, the knees out nice and wide. Find that little activation through lower belly and make sure you stay active through your arms here. Most of the weight should be on top of the ball though. And then squeeze those heels together really actively and drive those heels up to the sky. Knees come down around the ball and then exhale to frog kick up. Down and lift. And again here we want that movement to come from the hips rather than arching through the lower back to find the height. That in the end is just going to leave you with a sore lower back. We want to have sore glutes. Working those beautiful peaches. Exhale, lift. And down. And drive it up. And down. And 3. 2. Keep those heels squeezed together. 1. Then we lift those legs up. Point the toes, reach the legs out on that same angle the knees were already facing. Then flex the feet and drag the heels back together. Point the toes, reach the legs nice and long, keep them lifted. Flex the feet and drag the heels together. Squeeze the heels together before you point and reach. And flex and drag it in. Another 3 like so. Trying to keep that height of the thigh the whole way through. Keep that energy lifting through lower belly so we're not dumping into that poor old back. And 2. Last one here. Tiny little pulses in that upper range. Squeeze the heels together. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Just in that very top quarter range. Make sure the movement is coming from the hips. Keep the heels squeezing together and you should feel that beautiful crease of where the glutes and the hamstrings meet here, working to lift you up and down, up and down. Another 3 and 2 and 1. Stretch those legs out long. Let yourself come back. Let the legs relax down. Let your body relax down. Let your head hang over the ball. You can bend your knees to find even more length through the back and just enjoy this beautiful stretch through the posterior. Oh. Then we straighten those legs again. We pull our weight forwards a little more so that we've got the shoulders stacked directly over the hands. From here, keep the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to bend the elbows and kiss the floor with your forehead and then lift back up. And now as you bend the elbows, keep the legs reaching nice and long so that they stay in the same line as the upper body as you lift and lower. Good. Elbows stay away. Shoulders stay away from the ears. If you wanted to make this harder, you would walk yourself forward so that you have less weight on the ball. I still want you to find that seesaw action. So the legs lift as the body lowers. And then we find neutral again. Give me another 3. 2. And then come down. We're going to bend the knees, kick one ankle over the other. 2, 3, then reach the legs long and lift yourself back up. Bend the elbows, bend the knees, cross the ankles. 2, 3, reach the legs wide and lift back up. Little grasshopper kicks, another 3. Coming down, ankles cross. 2, 3, reach them long, come back up. And 2, 1, 2, 3, legs reach, lift back up. Last one here, coming down, ankles cross. 2, 3, reach it long and come up. Slide yourself back again, let the knees come to the ground, and then move the ball out beside you and come to kneel facing me. Again, find the top of the ball and then bring your hand just 1/4 of the way down the ball. Knees are directly underneath the hips, and we want to try and keep them centered here as we come into our mermaid stretch. We're going to inhale that right arm up and side flex towards the ball. Exhale to come back up. Good, hips stay centered over the knees. Inhale, lift and over. Exhale up. This arm on the ball, as you go to come back in, you can gently press down. You'll feel an activation down through the side body, which will help you to restack up. Last one here. And then add in some rotation. So we lift up, inhale, exhale, reach the hand towards the other hand. Inhale, open, exhale up. Pelvis stays centered. Upper body twists. Inhale. Exhale, reach the hand towards the other hand. Inhale, open the ribs again. Exhale up. Last 2. Inhale, side stretch. Exhale, rotate as far as comfy. Inhale, think lift and open. And then lift and back up. Last one, we grow tall to come over. And then we rotate those ribs down towards the ground. Back up, open to the sky, and all the way up. Beautiful. Bring the ball in beside you. Then lean onto the ball, and you can bring your bottom knee in as close as you can to the ball, and then that top arm can just rest underneath your head, and the top leg can reach out nice and long. And from here, we're going to lift that leg up and lower down. The leg lifts and lowers. And a little trick here that I need to use, and you might like to use too, is internally rotating the thigh slightly as you lift. So we want to feel the top and side of the bum working rather than the front of the hip. And we're only lifting that leg as far as we can without feeling like we're going to collapse the body into the ball. So we're resting on the ball, but we're also lifted up and off the ball. Hold that leg up there, give me little circles. Trying to find the top, the back, the front of the circle, make it a full, nice smooth circumference. Last circle this direction, and then circle back the other way. Lift it up, pull it forwards, press it back. Make those circles as big as you can without disturbing anything else through the body. 2, 1. Bend the knee, flex the foot, drive the heel back. Bend the knee, pull it towards the chest, flex the foot and drive the heel back behind the line of the body. One more just like this, and then we'll take it into a bicycle. So bend the knee, pull it forwards, reach the leg forwards, trying to stay balanced, flex the foot and drive the leg back. Bend the knee, pull the knee towards the chest, reach it forwards without letting the leg drop down. Flex the foot, drive it back. One more in this direction. Everything is working here. Good, and then we go the other way. Flex the foot, drive the leg to extension. Reach the toes forwards, pull the knee to the chest, stay balanced. Drive it back again. Reach it forwards, knee stays high, foot stays high. Everything is working. Last one. And then lower that leg down. Nice work. You can bring yourself up from there. And we'll do the same on the other side. So take that ball out to the other side. We start with our mermaids to begin with. So knees directly underneath the hips. Top of the ball, we find a quarter of the way down the ball. And then we inhale to lift tall and then side flex, keeping the trunk facing forwards to begin with. Exhale to come back up. Inhale, lift, and then flex. Exhale, back up. And see here, with my hips staying centered, my upper body is moving away from my hips. So what you don't want to see is the ribs shifting to the side, and the hips might move a little to the side, but you don't want them to do too much of the work. It's that upper body we're trying to get moving. And down. Then we rotate. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, down. Reach that top hand towards the other hand. Inhale, open. Exhale up. Inhale, lift and side flex. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale up. 2 more like that. It feels so good. Breathe into that top side waist. Keep the pelvis neutral as the upper body twists here. Open up. Exhale, come up. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, then bring that ball all the way in. Hug the ball as you come down. Try and get that bottom knee as close into the ball as you can here. Then the top leg extends long and the bottom elbow comes underneath your head. From there, we're resting on the ball, but we're lifting off the ball. The top leg lifts and lowers. Top leg lifts and lowers. You should feel that in the side. Top side of your bottom. Lift and lower. Remember, we've got that little bit of internal rotation if you need the help. Just to bring the work into the back rather than into the front, to those hip flexors that can be not the nicest to overwork. And then the next time the leg is up there, hold it there. We've got circles. Try and hit the top, the front, the bottom, the back of the circle. Find that full circumference and try and keep those circles as big as each other. Last 2 circles this direction. Keep thinking of reaching the leg all the way out through the toes, back the other way. And that reaching sensation will help you to hopefully feel the work straight up into your glute, into the side of your hip, but also help you to maintain length through the leg. Last 2. Ooh, might feel a little different on this side, sure does for me. Then bend that knee, pull the chest forwards, flex the foot and drive the heel back and behind you. Draw the knee forwards, keep the knee and the foot high and drive it back. We just got 1 more here. Now we've got that weight moving forwards and backwards of the body. There's a lot more work that our stabilizers have to do. Bend the knee in, then extend the leg, reach it out, flex the foot and drive the heel back. Bend the knee, big bicycles here, making them as big as you can whilst maintaining that stability. Last one. Drive it back. And then we've got that reverse direction. Pull, press the heel back, pull the knee forwards, bend the knee and drive it back again. Try and keep that leg high. Last one here. Ooh, she's a bit harder on this side for me. And then bring that leg down. Ooh, bring yourself up. And we're going to bring that ball in. Walk to the back of your mat. Bring that ball in to the front of the thighs again. And then we're going to roll all the way over the ball and bring the hands on the ground. So you can walk the ball back so that it's underneath your shins. The less contact you have with the ball, the harder this becomes. So if it's down on your ankles, then this is going to be more challenging. We're going to keep the shoulders over the top of the wrists. Exhale to pull the knees in, keeping the spine neutral, and inhale them out. Exhale to pull in, inhale out. And just two more like that. And notice how that feels. And then as we round the spine, notice how much more abdominals you get. So we're going to tuck the tail to pull the ball in. Imagine the nose and the knees touch. And then inhale back out. Exhale to scoop and round and pull. Inhale and out. Last two. Really try and get that pubic bone all the way to the nose. And one. And out. Keeping the legs straight now. We come straight up into pike. Pull those hips as high up over the shoulders as you can. And then release back into your plank. Just four more. Scoop and lift with lower belly. Try and get those hips as high over the shoulders as you can. And back down. Last two, stay with me. And make sure those fingers are really working into the ground. Don't bend your elbows here or you will hit the ground. Coming all the way back down. You can step one foot in front and then keep the other leg on the ball. Find your balance and lift up tall. Did I say it was hot before? It's really warm now. So, coming into a little hip flexor stretch. Let's bend into that front knee, roll backwards, the thigh onto the ball, and then lift yourself back up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Trying to keep the hips facing forwards. And again, make sure that lower belly is active. We don't want to be dumping here into the lower back. We're lifting up and out of that lower back. Last one. And then come down. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Find the work in the belly. Extend that leg, place it back on the ball. Pull the other foot down to the ground as close to those hands as you can. And then drive down to lift up. Pull that back leg in, find your balance. And then send that ball away from you. Let the thigh melt onto the ball as you come into your stretch. And come up. Make sure your leg is centered on the ball or it's not going to be very easy for you. Coming down in. Exhale. Keep that lift through lower belly. Feel that beautiful space through the front of the hip. Last two. Then come back down. Bring the hands back down to the ground. Transfer the weight into the hands, find the work of the belly, and extend that leg back onto the ball. Then we tap the left toes down to the ground, lift them back up. Tap the right toe out and down, and back up. Continue side to side here, trying to keep your balance on the ball, trying to keep your weight nice and centered over the wrists. One more each side. And then bring those knees in, Roll yourself back. And then try and bring your hands slowly up onto the ball. Find your balance. Find a spot that's not moving. See if you can lift up. Find your balance within the wobble. Maybe your hands are still on the ground. That's totally fine. Just try and find that sweet spot where you can transfer a little bit more weight onto the ball. If you're on your knees with your hands off, then try and lift up into a high kneeling position. Your feet might feel like they're grabbing onto the ball, and that's totally fine. Keep that activity through the lower belly. And then bring those hands back down to the ball. And roll yourself off the ball. Nice work. Roll that ball forwards. Come and have a sit down on your bottom. And then bring your feet up onto the ball. We're going to have the feet flat on the ball. So they're, again, about that quarter of the way down. And then knees are bent. Knees are in line with the hips. Feet are in line with the knees and arms are reaching down by your sides. Let's pelvic curl here. Find deep lower belly, exhale. Find even more deep lower belly, that whole lower back flattens to the mat. And then we slowly articulate our way up the spine. Inhale at the top without letting the ball move. Exhale, let your sternum melt, your ribs melt, your middle back, your lower back, the pelvis, and find neutral. Again, deep lower belly engages, pubic bone draws to the belly button, the lower back flattens against the floor. Then we slowly make our way all the way up into bridge. Inhale at the top. Exhale, slowly, slowly melt your way down. One vertebrae at a time, releasing to the floor. Inhale, when you get there, find neutral. Exhale to gather that deep low belly energy again. And take your time as you lift and lower. You want to try and feel one vertebrae at a time, lifting and releasing to the floor. Feel that beautiful intervertebral space as you massage along the spine. Next time the hips are in the sky, you're going to hold them up there. Inhale to reach the legs out. Exhale, as you pull the legs in, press down through your arms, press down through your feet, and make sure your hips stay in line with your knees and your shoulders the whole time. So we're one straight line, rather than letting the bum drop down in between, which is much easier to do because the glutes aren't doing their job. Inhale out. Exhale, pull it in. And then the ball might start to slip, which is fine. So see if you can pull the ball all the way into your tippy toes and then back out again. Last two. And then walk your feet back up the ball if you've lost that connection, and slowly take your time as you roll back down to the mat. Bring the ball all the way in so that your thighs are wrapped over it, and bring your arms out to the side. Keep your knees super glued together and your shoulders anchored to the ground. Inhale the knees over to the left. Eyes gaze to the right shoulder stays anchored. Exhale to pull back in. Inhale the other way. Exhale back in. And as you twist from side to side here, think about reaching the fingers and the knees in opposite directions. Feel the stretch with your breath, and then pull yourself back with the breath. Notice what it feels like on each side. And again, try and just move as far as you can, keeping the shoulder on the ground. Coming back to center. Squeeze the heels into the ball so that you can lift it up off the ground. Bring the arms down by your side. Exhale, squeezing the heels into the bum. Try and do a little reverse curl. And then tap the ball back down. Exhale, scoop, lower belly. Knees pull towards the chest and we tap the ball back down. Exhale to pull in. Inhale down. Meanwhile, the arms can do a little bit of work pressing into the ground to help you find that lift up. Keep thinking of the collarbone staying nice and broad here. Last one, just like so. And then let the ball come to the ground, extend the legs up, lift the hips high. Roll back down through the spine, find a heavy pelvis, then roll the ball in. Grab hold of the ball with those legs, curl back up, and then roll back down, reach the legs out, peel the spine up, roll back down again, heels to the bottom, exhale, little reverse curl. Inhale, legs reach, hips lift, slowly down, and then see if you can lift a little bit higher now. Try and get those knees all the way to the forehead. And slowly releasing your way back down, one vertebrae at a time. The ball finds the ground, the legs extend, the hips lift, the ribs release, the spine releases, the heels pull back to the bum, and then the knees pull back to the head. Only rolling as far as you feel you can comfortably with control. So keep it as a little mini lift if that means that you can do the whole movement with control. We don't want any momentum to take a hold here. Rolling down, last two. The next time the legs are out long, we're going to hold the hips high. Hold it there. Try and find that balance. See if you can float one leg up off the ball and back down. And the other leg up off the ball. Reach as high as you can. Keep the hips high. Keep the arms pressing down to assist you with that balance. Last one. And then slowly roll back down through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Bring the feet to the outsides of the ball. Knees are bent. Extend the legs up to the sky. Curl up. Grab a hold of the ball and lower back down. Exhale, chest lift. Place the feet in between the ball. And exhale, chest lift. Take a hold of the ball. Bring the feet together as you lower down. This is your level one. Just passing the ball. Again, there's no yanking with the arms. We're pulling from the belly. If you want to take it further, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, lift up. The arms come overhead. If you want to take it further again, the arms go overhead, the legs lower down, and they both come back up and meet in the center. You're only lifting and lowering the legs, especially as low as you can, maintaining that neutral spine or that imprinted spine so the back is connected to the mat and it doesn't lift off at all. Last one here. And grab hold of the ball. Legs and arms are straight now. We're going to take the left leg and the right arm and reach them away and pull it back up. Keep pressing the shin and the hand in together and up. If the head doesn't like being lifted, do the same thing laying flat. And my golly goodness, the belly should be burning now. Keep that reach, fingers and toes moving as far away from each other as possible. And one more on each side. Bend those knees and give yourself a little rest. Nice work. Take the legs out straight, reach the arms up and overhead. Take a nice breath in, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, bring the chin to the throat, the ribs to the hips, and slowly start to roll yourself up. Sitting nice and tall. Let's press the hands on top of the ball. Draw the shoulders to the back of their sockets. Then roll the pubic bone to the belly button and slowly make your way back down. Keep the ball on your hips. Exhale, make sure the feet are flexed here. Chin to the throat, gently push down with the hands. And feel how that helps you to activate through that kind of connection, drawing down with the ribs. Take your time as you roll yourself up and as you roll yourself down. And you want to feel on the way down, it's the top of the pelvis, the sacrum, then the lower back, the lower ribs, then the shoulder blades, and eventually the head. And to come up, the head lifts, the shoulders round as the ribs draw down towards the hips. Then the whole lower back compresses to the mat as you lift up. And the sacrum should still be on the mat, the pelvis, until the whole lower back has lifted up. Last two like this. Take your time. Especially on that way up, if you feel like you need to take a couple of breaths. Keep feeling that breath out is drawing the belly down and releasing the spine towards the mat to help you find more space to move. Then let's stay seated nice and tall. Reach the arms up and overhead with the ball, gently hugging the ball. Keep the feet flexed and the legs nice and long. If you can't sit up straight here with the legs long, you can bend the knees slightly so that you can feel the sitting bones really anchored into the mat. Exhale to rotate right. Inhale, center. Think of lifting tall with the inhale. Exhale to twist. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Make it a double exhale now. Inhale, tall. Inhale, tall. One more each side. That second exhale helps you twist a little further. Come back to center. Bring the arms down. Bring the hands on top of the ball again. Gently pressing down with the hands. Chin to the throat, ribs to the hips. Rolling forwards. Exhale. Inhale, sit back tall. Exhale, chin to the throat. Think the belly pulls in to help you flex forwards. Inhale up. So we're not just rolling in and out with the ball. We're pulling ourselves into that space and rolling ourselves back up. Last one. And up. And we dive down. Keep the belly low. Draw the shoulders down. See if you can lift just the chest. And roll back up. Again, dive down, chin to the throat, ribs to the hips. Reach forwards here. Then draw the shoulders down. Try and extend the upper back, but keep the belly as close to the thighs as you can. Then reach back out and roll back up. Chin to the throat, rolling down. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale, roll back up. Inhale, tall. Two more. Exhale. Belly stays low, chest lifts high. Exhale. Inhale, tall. Last one. Belly should be working. Hip flexors are working. Inhale, tall. Nice work. All right. From there, coming up onto your knees. And bring the ball behind you now. We're going to Send your bum towards the edge of the ball and press yourself up. You can interlace your hands, place them behind your head. And then we're going to roll so the hips are just off the ball, and we can keep the hips lifted and just the head and chest are supported on the ball. Ideally, we've got the knees directly over the top of the ankles, and the upper body should be completely supported here. We're going to peel our way down, releasing the sternum, the ribs, all the way down. Try and wrap your spine around the roller, and then pull your spine off the roller one vertebrae at a time. So pubic bone draws to the belly button. The very lower back begins to make its way up. The ribs stay anchored down until it's their turn to lift. Inhale. Keep the hips nice and high as you melt down through the sternum, through the ribs. And keep that pubic bone to belly button sensation so that you can slowly release the spine one vertebrae at a time coming down. Feel that lengthening here as you pull the sitting bones down around the roller. And then pubic bone to the belly button, slowly making your way back up into bridge. 2 more like this. Feel that beautiful lengthening of the spine. Depending on how mobile you are here will depend on whether you can wrap your whole spine around the ball. And pubic bone to belly button. There's so much lower belly that has to work to create that space through the lumbar spine. Press it to extension. The last one. Breathing into the back. Enjoy that beautiful stretch. Hold it up there. Open the knees a little and close the knees a little. Open a little, close a little. Keep the hips lifted. Don't let them drop down at all. We're just abducting and releasing, abducting and releasing, feeling that pull into the side bum and the relax. Upper body's totally relaxed. It's really quite comfy up here. That bottom should be working. Make sure you still got the little lift through lower belly. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then lower. Just relax the glutes and squeeze them again. Relax and squeeze. Relax and squeeze. At the top, keep thinking pubic bone to belly button. Drives those hips through to extension. And again, we should be feeling right at the crease of that glute and hamstring mark here. Beautiful way to make that booty lift. Another 4, 3. Make sure the knees are still in that same angle. 1. And you can roll yourself back a little more so that your hips are relaxed on the edge of the ball and your upper body is releasing over the top of the ball. Bring your elbows into your peripheral vision. And even though the hips are relaxed here, try and just find that little bit of lower belly activation so we're not dropping into lower back extension. Exhale, we chest lift, drawing the ribs towards the hips, and then inhale to lower back down. Exhale, chest lifts, inhale down. And as the upper body lifts, I want you to be mindful that the lower body doesn't drop and also doesn't tuck in towards you. So it's the ribs to the hips rather than hips to the ribs. Yeah? Inhale to extend. Exhale, chest lift. Keep the head heavy in the hands. Feel it's the ribs dragging to the hips that brings you up. And then next time you're up there, hold it up there. Without letting the pelvis rock at all, you're going to rotate one direction. One shoulder pulls back as the opposite shoulder pulls forwards. Come back through center and lower down. Exhale, chest lift, ribs to hips. Then the opposite shoulder forwards as the other one pulls back, center and down. You get a little viewing advantage here. So check your hips out. Make sure they're not rocking completely off center. Lots of things working here to keep you stable. Exhale, ribs to hips, then opposite rib draws to the opposite hip and center and down. And let's just do one more on each side. Come back down, keep the hips lifted. Roll out a little more so you've just got the head and shoulders on the ball again. Imagine you have a ball in between your hands. You want to try and keep the hips nice and high here, and you're going to roll the upper body as far as you can to the side, keeping that ball in between your hands. And then back through center and to the other side. Try and find equal amount of roll on each side, keeping the hips nice and high. The hips will want to move a little, and that's okay for the most part. They're staying centered. One more each side. Come back to center. Let the arms stretch overhead as you straighten your legs. The fingertips are facing back towards you, and you can just take some nice big breaths here. Allowing the belly to rise on the inhale, release on the exhale. If this stretch is too intense, bend your knees and just bring yourself forwards a little so that the arc isn't so intense in your back. Nice big breaths. If this stretch feels okay and you know you can do wheel, then you can come into wheel from here. Otherwise, I just want you to play with releasing the bum to the ground and rolling back, getting the legs as straight as possible, and maybe letting the fingertips roll backwards towards you so you're getting some wrist extension. And if it feels fine for you to be in that position, then you can bring the feet all the way in as close to the ball as possible. Bring the hands down to the ground and then drive yourself up. Try and lift your body weight up off the ball. Finding wheel. Adjust yourself if you need to, maybe walking those feet in. You can try and straighten those legs, driving the chest through the arms. Have another few breaths here. Try and keep the knees in together if you can so they're not opening all the way out to the sides. And then slowly give yourself a little rest. If you're rocking back and forth, you can just have a little rest at the bottom as well. If you're in wheel, you can have a rest at the bottom, and we're going to do that one more time. So again, you're either moving backwards and forth, or if you feel like you've warmed up through your back and you want to take it a little further, then maybe holding this nice long supported position. Otherwise, if you're coming into wheel, walk the feet in as close to your bottom as you can, the fingers as close to your shoulders as you can, then actively press down through the heels and the hands and lift your hips up off the ball. You can walk your feet in closer if you've got the range. Nice big breaths here. Try and keep the inner thighs active so you're not abducting the legs. You can try and straighten the legs or drive that weight forwards to find more of a chest stretch. And then slowly releasing yourself back onto the ball. Bring yourself all the way down and then push yourself up onto the ball so that you're sitting on top of it. We'll finish just with a nice little inner thigh stretch. So bringing those feet out so that they're nice and wide. Toes are turned out slightly. We're going to roll the ball off to the right. As you do, straighten that left leg. Let the heel reach out. Drive the hips through so that you feel this beautiful stretch through the inner thigh line. Coming back through center. Let the feet pivot to face the other direction. And then roll the hips through to find that stretch on the other side. And just continue from side to side. Oh, it feels so nice. One more on each side here. Maybe you like to take that arm up with Exhale. Other side. Coming through. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can feel that beautiful work through your whole body. And until next time, stay fabulous. Namaste.